Shalom, shalom and welcome. My name is Symmanayah if you're tuning in for the first time, and I present what I am compelled to present to those who are seeking to do the desire of the Almighty Yahuah, the Almighty Creator. With that said, let me say thank you, Almighty One, Almighty Yahuah. Thank you for giving me life to those who are watching this video or listening to it, and those who are alive. We take life for granted, like it's owed to us, like it belongs to us. I'm talking about physical life. And some of us neglect the inward life, the everlasting life, not understanding. Now the scriptures talk about one pursuing his own life versus giving his life for Yahusha's sake. But we must learn how to connect our inward man, that spirit, our spirit, that is joined with Yahushua, those who are indeed part of the set-apart family, the set-apart nation of Yasharal. And this consists of Hebrews and Gentiles who have been drawn and who have yielded to the Almighty Father's word. And no man can come to Yahuwah except by Yahusha. No Trinity. Yahusha is recognizing the process in which the sacrifice, the virgin birth, the sacrifice, the resurrection made it possible for the forgiveness of sin. The shed blood made it possible for the forgiveness of sin. And the Almighty Yahuwah sent his set-apart spirit in Yahusha's name, John 14:26. Many struggle. Many who believe that they are called by the Almighty Father struggle with understanding that Yahusha is the voice of Yahuwah, is the spirit of Yahuwah. It just identified the time which we recognize that relationship made possible. With that said, my brothers and sisters, the title of this message is Become Acquainted with Your Inward Man. My brothers and sisters, let me read some things to you. Mental programming attempt to dominate. Mental program attempt to dominate. Let me read Mark 14:38, and I'm reading from the scripture version of eSword. Mark 14:38 says, "Watch and pray, lest you enter into trial. The spirit indeed is eager, but the flesh is weak." The flesh is weak. John 6:63 says, "It is the spirit that gives life. The flesh does not profit at all. The words that I speak to you are spirit and are life." My brothers and sisters, you ever hear somebody say, "I should have went with my second mind, my first mind, my first thought"? That's an indication that they are recognizing that there is more involved with what makes us respond and act to the things we experience. For example, do you know, my brothers and sisters, there's something called conditioning, mental conditioning, and it has specific labels: classical conditioning, mental conditioning, classical conditioning. Psychology works on programming us to respond and act a certain way. This is the psychology that man would want us to be operating under. Such as even with these colonizers, they have done things to program us to think the way they want us to think. Do you know, my brothers and sisters, the workings of conditioning comes from the brain. Like many of us, we were taught how to walk, how to ride a bike, how to drive, maybe. There are a lot of things we've been taught to affect how we govern ourselves, words we use. And what I'm saying, my brothers and sisters, that beyond that, there's the spirit within. Join with Yahushua, join with the Almighty Father Yahuah, that presents to us the things that are set apart, the things that are righteous, the things that are connected to salvation. The previous recording I did was Stop in Spirit. So many of us sometimes talk about what has happened, what did happen, what occurred, ED. But do you know that when it comes to belief, belief begins before we physically hear it, before we physically see it. And in the scriptures, it is written that belief is of the Spirit. Look at Hebrews 11th chapter and read it, my brothers and sisters. Begin to recognize that there is the Spirit within us that is most important. Let us begin to release the set-apart thoughts of Yahuwah. Let us begin to release the set-apart things that are connected to our salvation, to our growth, to our coming together. Let us become more acquainted with our inward man. For instance, if we pause to make a decision of whether to do something or not, who do you think you're consulting? What do you think is occurring? Believe it or not, there's a spiritual function that is occurring. You pause, we pause. And even though we might say, well, that was in my brain, where did that come from? The time is now where we begin to become acquainted with our inward man. Know that the Almighty Yahuah sent His word, manifest His word in the person of Yahushua, manifest His Spirit in the name of Yahushua. Many struggle with this because they don't understand what death is. What death is. But once we are created, we never cease to exist, period. The physical body stops functioning. And if you are a child of Yahuwah, you go to the bosom of Abraham, a place where Yahuwah has set for us to rest until Judgment Day. If you are not, you go to hell. Burning fire, torment. My brothers and sisters, these things might seem hard to understand, but they are real, they are true. But one thing I want you to realize, as a child of Yahuwah, that spirit, before it goes to the bosom of Abraham, is functioning and working, managing these earthen vessels, these bodies. And yes, the flesh war against the spirit. When they say the flesh lusts against the spirit, we must really begin to seek to understand more and more clearly the inward man and manage our earthen vessels as Yahuwah would have us manage them, as He guides us through His word. The Bible, or the scriptures, the original written scriptures were inspired by Yahuwah. What we have now has been translations, in other words, tampered scriptures. But in order to understand what is life, what is true, what Yahuwah wants to say to us, we must pray and discern the Spirit. For it says, the letter kills, the Spirit gives life. That Spirit is the Spirit of Yahusha, giving it to our spirit, and we receiving the life in His Word. Better understanding will come. Clearer understanding will come during these end times. We will learn how to navigate through the situations we face. And my prayer, my brothers and sisters, is that we understand what is expected from us as a result of Yahushua guiding us, our sovereign, guiding us, bringing us closer together. I pray that you're doing okay. And I will say each day, thank you, Almighty Father, for giving us that opportunity to get it better, to do it better. Thank you, Almighty Father, for giving us words of encouragement, strength, in the things that you do. Thank you. I pray that each of us will grow to begin to discern the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua better. That we understand we have an inward man, and let it be joined with Yahushua and manage these earthen vessels. Know when the flesh is trying to raise its ugly head versus the Spirit managing these earthen vessels. Pray. Begin to have discussions with a brother or a sister regarding the inward man. Have discussions to better bring out what it means to worship and obey the Almighty Father. On that note, my brother, my sister, my family, be strong. End times are here, and we will become stronger, wiser, closer to one another, in spite of all that the enemy is trying to do to stop it. Trust and believe that Yahuwah's word, His words, will be true. Shalom.